A week of dry, warm weather forecast for us here in New Zealand. Farmers are now on edge. In Hawke's Bay, it hasn't rained since before Christmas, and some farmers are now moving stock to the Waikato. Federated Farmers CEO Connor English joins us now from our Wellington studio. Thank you for joining us this morning. Tell us, how desperate is this situation getting for farmers?
Look, we're having a typical summer, back to a typical summer. Last year we had lots of rain and there was lots of grass. This year, particularly on the eastern seaboard, it has been a bit drier. But look, that's great for shearing sheep and making hay and harvesting grain. So there's some upsides to the nice sunshine. But it is true that there are farmers who are destocking just simply because they're not getting the moisture that can help that grass grow that they need to feed their animals.
So we know that Hawke's Bay is the worst hit area. What about the rest of the country? Where else is it getting serious?
Well, look, traditionally it's just been on that eastern seaboard, so, the Marlborough area, the Canterbury area and Hawke's Bay and Gisborne tends to be on that side of the island that things dry off a bit. But what it highlights, Tony, is, the government's been promoting and we've been promoting water storage, and that means that, we can have our cake and eat it too. If we have dams that can hold water, that we can get the grass growing and still enjoy the sunshine and have a nice time at the beach, it's a win-win for everyone.
As you say here, it's going back to typical summers. What does that mean for farmers? Does that mean that they expect this, they can plan for this?
Yeah, well, everyone knows the summer's coming, and in Hawke's Bay it's always, been traditionally quite dry over summer, and they farm, they destock and work their farming systems to cope with that. Just sometimes, though, it gets a wee bit more drier than a normal dry year, and that can have an impact on their businesses.
How much longer do you think farmers can cope without this rain? Can you put a sort of weekly mark on it?
Well, look, it'd be nice to see some rain. There'll be plenty of farmers out there now who'd love to have a couple of inches of rain over 3 or 4 days, nice steady rain. So we'll just sort of wait and see. But a lot of farmers are destocking. They are coping with the dry conditions. They're managing it. Probably the bigger issue for them is that when they are destocking and selling stock is that the prices this year are back significantly on last year. So the financial implication of that is actually making quite a big negative impact on them.
Now, the government's announced this irrigation project. How would this help in a situation like this?
Oh, well, look, that would be a fantastic help, actually, because what it means is that, through the winter we have a lot of rain, but we don't need it to help the grass grow. And through the summer we don't have quite so much rain. And if you've got a dam with water stored, you can use that to irrigate and have grass growing, 365 days a year. So that would be a really fantastic thing to see coming through, and we're very, very strong supporters of it. Not only to help the farming businesses, but also to give resilience to those rural communities and also to help the environment.
We heard last night on the 6 o'clock news a couple of farmers that are getting a little bit worried. What would your advice be to those farmers if you could give them a piece this morning?
Well, I think farmers themselves know what to do. They're running their expenses very cautiously. They're not spending a lot of money. They're just being very cautious about that. And the number one priority for farmers in these dry conditions is to look after the health and welfare of their stock. So they're making sure that they can feed them, and when they can't, they are destocking, selling them to other farmers in other parts of the country where there is grass, or sending them to the freezing works. So farmers know how to cope with this, and I'm sure we'll get through it.
Yeah, and as you said, there is an upside for the wine growers. This must be great for them.
Yeah, it is fantastic. And look, it's fantastic for making hay, making silage. In Canterbury now we're harvesting grain and the weather's perfect for that. So there's always two sides to the coin, isn't there? And I think it's great that we're having a bit of summer and people can enjoy the sunshine. It'd be just great if we had a bit of rain at night time.
It certainly goes with farming, doesn't it? You never know what the weather's going to bring up. Connor English, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.